So we're going to start with the bass drum, and we're going to put all the kit together bit by bit, so this is the best place to start. The first thing you need to find in one of the packs is your drum key. So that looks like a little radiator key, and that's going to be really important. So whatever you do, don't lose that. You can get replacements though from music shops if you do lose it, but we're definitely going to need this for everything. You're going to need your bass drum, which is this bit. It's got two hoops either side. We're going to need a pack of the bolts, and they look like claws, little clamps, we call them claws. So you're going to need those. You're also going to need the pack with the heads in. So let's have a look in here. We have, let's take that out. We have all the tom heads in here as well, but we don't need those just yet. So I'll take those out and put those to one side. For this particular bit, we just need the two bass drum heads. Now this one is the front one, so this is going to sit here. We have the logo maybe at the top there, and the clear one, this is the batter head. This is going to sit at the back here, so that way around. So just for a moment, we're going to take these off and put those to one side. I'll take this plastic off as well. Let's take our claws, put those to one side. Now, the first thing you need to know is that the bass drum has a front and a back, and you can usually tell which is which because the T-screws here, which are holding the arms in, will be facing backwards. The logo is more towards the back, and there's a little air hole here as well. But the most distinguishing feature is the spurs, which are on the front. They're going to be facing towards the front. So let's get this cellophane off. Let's take one hoop off and the other hoop off, and we're going to take this off. You can see a little bit more clearly. Here we go. So here's the front spur, and this is just to stop the drum from falling over. So if I undo the T-screw here and rock it forward, you can see that it screws back in there, and we want it facing slightly angled forwards. And there's an adjustment here as well, which we can really pay attention to later on, which will just adjust the height of the bass drum. So I'm just going to do this a second, just so we can keep it stable. So as you can see, this is the front of the bass drum. Obviously here is the back. When you get a brand new kit out, just check around the edges here and just make sure that there are no dings or bashes, or that the wood's all split or anything like that. This one seems to be in perfect condition. Now, this is what we call the bearing edge, and it looks great. And the same on the back. We'll just check, and that all looks really good. So we have a really nice bass drum. Now I'm going to start on the front head here. So let's turn this way. And I'm going to get this head. I'm going to line up the logo with the top, between the two top spurs, and we'll see if that looks about right, and it does. That's great. Okay, now we're going to need a hoop. So now there's a little lip on the hoop here. You can cover that. That's where the wrap meets. You can cover that with one of the spurs. So I usually put it towards the bottom where no one can really see it. And I'm going to just line it up here so that when one of the claws is on, you won't really notice it. So we're going to need a pack of claws. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's an 8 lug. So we've got 8 claws needed. So let's put these on. These are the nut boxes. These are the claws here. Let's pop those on. So they're ready to go. They just hang on the hoop. Next thing you're going to need is a pack of bolts, and these come with little washers. I don't know if you can quite see those from there, but I'm going to put a washer onto these long bolts, and I'm just going to pop one on here and line it up, and that will screw into the lug there. I'm not going to do it very tight yet, so I'm just going to go ahead and fix all these on. Okay, so we've got our screws. They're just finger tight all the way around. So now sometimes it's a good idea just to give it a little press in the middle of the drum just to make sure it's seated. I don't always have to do this, but it can help sometimes. Okay, so they're just what we call finger tight. So that's as tight as I can go with my fingers. I'm going to get my drum key, and just for now I'm just going to tighten up just about a half a turn here all the way around, just to get a little tension on this head. We don't want it too tight. It is a bass drum and it needs to have a low sound, so we don't want it to go boing. I'm just giving just another little quarter turn all the way around. And I'm just using my fingers to get the tension there. So that'll do for now. There are no wrinkles on the head. Maybe one just there. I want to get those out. So there's pretty much no wrinkles all the way around. So there we go, one front head. Now let's pay attention to the other side. And we're going to do pretty much the same thing for this head, except we're going to introduce one important thing. I have here an old 70s blanket. Look at this, fantastic. I don't need this anymore, so a good job for it will be to sit inside the bass drum. You can use a pillow, especially like a duck-filled feather pillow, something that's quite heavy, or a duvet or blanket. A lot of drum manufacturers make special foam inserts, or sometimes the actual heads. You can buy replacement heads that have mufflers on, and this helps the bass drum be a little tighter, so you don't want it to go boom, you want it to go thud. So especially if you're starting out. Later on, if you like jazz music for instance, and you want a boomy bass drum sound, then of course you can take this out, and often people have holes in the front of the head that they can reach in. They can move this around if they need to muffle the drum or not. But when you're just starting out, just throw something in, a good duvet or a blanket or a pillow, and make sure it's touching both the front head and the back head, and that will really help with the sound. So top tip right there. I'm going to put this back head on, and let's go for it. So we have all of the tension rods all done pretty much the same as I did on the front. So all the way around, just tap testing just on the drum, just to try to see if we can get the same pitch all the way around. higher on this one, so I can undo that just a little bit. So you'll have to do a little trial and error on your drum and just try to match them all the same. Now I've just tuned this an approximate tension for the moment. Later on, as we get to play this drum kit, we'll find out what sort of sound it makes, and then we'll adjust it accordingly. So for now, I've done approximately a half a turn and then a further quarter turn or so from finger tight. And that seems to have done the job on this particular drum. So let's turn it round. So there is the drum all assembled, and we have our blanket. Now I'm just going to give it a little shove there, just so we get that blanket, especially on that back head there, so we can hear it's a little bit more damped. And if we turn it round, we can see that we now have a bass drum. So there we go, first bit done.